Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Money Troubles. And that is because next Monday, we are going to have a very potent full moon at 23 degrees of Taurus, which is a fixed financial sign. And we know under a full moon that the moon opposes the sun. So the moon will be at 23 degrees of Taurus and the sun will be at 23 degrees of Scorpio, which is the other fixed financial signs. When the sun and the moon square or oppose each other, that can lead to indecision or confusion. Well, maybe that's why there can be money troubles. But also, there are 3 planets which have now changed signs. They've been doing a lot of moving in the last week. And so what has happened is that Mercury has gone out of Scorpio and now it's in Sagittarius. Well, Venus went out of Sagittarius and now it's in Capricorn. And Mars left Capricorn and now it is in Aquarius. And that is the reason why there can be troubles. That Mars in Aquarius is now in a fixed sign. So Mars, the planet of war, greed, hate, envy, jealousy, is in a fixed sign, Aquarius, which rules the future, and it is squaring that full moon on Monday in Taurus, and it is also squaring the sun in Scorpio then. And so the lights are being hit rather harshly by the force and the energy and the passion of Mars. And that is what can cause severe disagreements about financial matters. So somewhere in all of our lives, there can be money troubles coming up. They don't have to be drastic, and it may not be you that's having the money troubles, but it could be somebody that you know, or it could be an employer or whatever, and that could still affect you as well. And yet, there are people that can be very enthusiastic about things right now, and the reason why is that Jupiter in Libra, which does rule partnership and the law and legal contracts, is trining that Mars in Aquarius. And so with both of those planets trining each other, it simply means that new partners can be interested in mergers and acquisitions. That's a form of partnership. Or it can be that legal contractors can have really grand plans or great ideas and be in a big hurry to get things gelled in a way to make a better future. And so that's why they can be so enthusiastic right now, possibly about short journeys or short plans or meetings or putting together some grand plan by getting everybody on the same page. That would be great. However, when you get down to discussing the terms of something, in other words, not the idea of it, but instead how to pay for it, there can be these severe financial disagreements. And that is because with Mars squaring both financial signs, Taurus and Scorpio, under the full moon on Monday, no one is willing to overlook the potential downside of a deal. And because they are not willing to overlook the potential downside of something, and that could be possibly because of indecision or because of confusion, or simply because the collaborators on some great grand plan have not had enough time to iron out all the details yet, and so they can have real worries about the potential downside of something. And so maybe that is causing money problems in the near future. However, since Mercury did change into Sagittarius and is now joining Saturn there, and those 2 planets are trining Uranus in Aries, which is the sign of new beginnings, and Uranus is the planet of sudden change, there is the possibility that a sudden breakthrough or a sudden revelation or even a sudden discovery could speed up progress in one way or another, and that could still get some grand plan off the ground, and that would be great. And in fact, even though the full moon is being opposed by the sun and squared by Mars, it is receiving some very good aspects, and that is because Venus moved into Capricorn and is joining Pluto there, and those two planets are trining the full moon in Taurus. Now the moon is exalted in Taurus, so it's very strong there, and the ruler of Taurus, Venus, is trining it. That's very good. That makes it even stronger. And since Capricorn rules rewards that are earned the hard way over a long period of time, it can rule long-term investments or long-term rewards, and those are very well aspected. So long-range plans can look very promising right now. But the bottom line is, since this full moon is in an earth sign, the earth signs are very realistic and very practical. And they don't like to skip steps, and they work very, very hard, and they're good problem solvers. So slowly but surely, a lot of money problems can be resolved. They can be fixed. But people are going to have to learn to face the truth about something and really admit that there are things that have been hidden or omitted, or there may be deceptions that have to come out in the open, so that if you want to succeed at a grand plan, or you want to form some sort of good partnership, or you want a better future and you want to find the money to pay for it, you're going to have to lay all your cards on the table. You're going to have to admit that there are things that do need to come out into the open, and they do need to be acknowledged. Because if anybody's going to solve a problem, they have to be able to see all parts of the problem first. That makes sense. And so when people are willing to quit kidding themselves and face the truth and really look at what is affordable and try to do something about it, maybe by forming partnerships or by putting together grand plans, then that's all right, because slowly but surely our money troubles or financial problems can be resolved. And so that's what we have to realize, that it's a step-by-step process, but it begins with acknowledging that there are problems and letting them come out in the open, because that way we can work with them and solve them. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, I think you might be affected by some sort of sudden breakthrough, because after all, now Mercury, the planet of the mind and of communication, is in Sagittarius, and it joins Saturn there, and both planets are trining Uranus in your own sign. And your sign is not being challenged quite as harshly. Yes, Venus and Pluto are still squaring it, but Venus is a very good planet, and Mars had been squaring your sun sign, which is your own ruler, Mars is, and it had been challenging you fiercely all the time that it was there, but it has moved on right now. And so I think that if there is a challenge in your life, and that could be from Jupiter in Libra opposing Uranus and from Venus and Pluto squaring it, it would not be so much in a career aspect, but instead in relationships. And so there is the possibility that there can still be sudden tension or breakups in a relationship, which I guess you'll just have to live with. But there's also the possibility of some sudden breakthrough or revelation or discovery that could speed up progress, and particularly for you, Aries. And so you should not turn your back on any sudden new developments in your life, because they could really help you at this time. And yet you too, since that full moon is in Taurus right ahead of your sun sign, you too could be looking at money troubles or simply being undecided about a financial situation, or you could even be involved in some sort of financial disagreements, as everyone else can too. So you have to sort of watch out for that. All right, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, that full moon on Monday in your sign is being opposed strongly by the sun in Scorpio, which is the other fixed financial sign, and it is being squared by that dominant Mars in Aquarius right now. And remember, Aquarius rules the future. So I think, Taurus, that there can be money troubles on your horizon, or that you are going to have to deal with some other people who do not want to overlook the downside of something right now. So they could be undecided, or they could be confused about something, or else there just isn't enough collaboration about some sort of pending or proposed project right now. So I think you are going to run into some legal or to some financial disagreements in the next week, or it simply can be that the cost of living's going up and you'll have to deal with that as well. Your long-term prospects, though, are looking just great. And the reason why is that Venus, your own ruler, along with Pluto, are both trining your sun sign. And so I think long-term you can be rather pleased with your investments, but you have to look carefully at how much they could be costing you now in the increased cost of credit that could be coming up, or in higher tax valuations, because that could hurt your profit too. So you do need to look at some things that could cause money troubles, Taurus, because I think they're pretty close to you right now, so you'll have to deal with them. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, it is rather wonderful that two planets are now trining your sun. Jupiter in Libra is trining your sun sign, and so is Mars in Aquarius. And that can bring very enthusiastic partners to your doorstep. And it can also mean that people can be in a rush with grand plans or great ideas, or they can want to schedule an awful lot of meetings or take short trips in order to get something off the ground. And you can be involved in that as well, Gemini. So you could be really, really busy this next week. That full moon in Taurus is right behind your sun sign, and that simply means that in the background of your life you could have your eye on something a little bit pricey, or you can be a little bit more worried about a money problem or a financial problem than other people realize. And it can be that you're even contemplating the taxes that you'll have to pay by the end of the year. So that could be a problem. The other thing is that Mercury, your own ruler, along with Saturn in Sagittarius, those two planets are opposing your sun sign right now. And that means that matters at a distance can involve some sort of sudden breakthrough or revelation or discovery, but they may not include you in any real discussions about that. On the other hand, if there is some sort of sudden change or breakthrough, I think that that may benefit you, Gemini, because Uranus is sextiling your sun sign. So on the whole, I would say that you're about to be very busy and involved in new plans for the future, and that should really be intriguing for you because your sign likes to be on the go. So I think that's what's going to happen. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that you can be somewhat relieved because Mars has moved out of Capricorn and now Venus has moved in. So Venus and Pluto now are opposing your sun sign. Jupiter in Libra is squaring it, and Uranus in Aries is also squaring it. But that's all right. At least Mars has moved on, and some pressure that you have been under for a while could be receding right now. And no matter what kind of money troubles people can be involved in, I think that you are going to come out of something with money. And the reason why I say that is because the sun in Scorpio, which is a fixed financial sign, is trining your sun, and so is Neptune in Pisces. So any money coming your way could be used to make a dream come true. But remember, you have to face the truth, and you have to get everything out in the open. And so nothing can be hidden or omitted in any way in order to go ahead and achieve your goals. So if you want to make a dream come true, that could be on the horizon sometime during the holidays. And the reason why is that Neptune is going to go direct in 10 days. And when that happens, things that have been in the background or have been hidden are going to be out in the open and will proceed forward, and they should benefit you, Cancer. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when I think you have to be very, very careful, because if you've got your mind on something pricey, you're going to have to ask yourself if you can really afford it, Leo, and I don't think you can. And the reason why is that the full moon in Taurus is squaring your sun on Monday, and the sun in Scorpio is also squaring your sun. And remember, Scorpio rules financing, credit, and debt. So the problem could be debts. And also Mars in Aquarius is opposing your sun sign, which means as people are thinking about the future, they may not be including you at this time. And maybe it is because they're all wrapped up in grand plans. They may not quite know how to pay for those grand plans, but they can be involved in that right now. And so I think you are going to have money troubles in one way or another, Leo. And my advice to you is keep your hands in your pocket. In other words, don't let yourself be too extravagant, because I think you would really regret that. And the reason why is that we can't afford everything. It's not a rich world anymore. And a lot of people have too much debt, and that's what has to be paid down first. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, the lights are really benefiting you, and that is because the full moon on Monday is trining your sun from Taurus, and the sun in Scorpio is sextiling your sun, and Venus and Pluto in Capricorn are trining your sun. So your long-term interests are looking very solid and very promising. And so I think that there's even the possibility that you can get promoted right now, Virgo, and that should be based on merit. I mean, it's because you have been working hard, or you really know how to account for your financial wherewithal. And so if you were trying to make a good investment, it could be paying off, or maybe you've already done that, and it could be worth more, and you are possibly due for a promotion, and your long-term prospects are looking really good. So this is a very solid time for you, Virgo. Not a flashy time, but a good solid time when you should certainly benefit. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, Jupiter is in your sign, but it is being opposed by Uranus in Aries, and that Uranus is being trined right now by planets in Sagittarius, which can indicate some sort of breakthrough or revelation or discovery. And if it is a breakup, instead, it wouldn't be one that you're initiating, but it can be that people can be making swift progress towards some sort of new beginning, and you may not be quite ready for that yet. But you could be forming plans for that, and that's because Mars in Aquarius is trining your sun sign right now. And that means that there are people around that can be very aggressive right now about putting together great plans. They may not know how to pay for them, though, and that is why I caution you to be really careful right now, because Venus, your own ruler, and Pluto in Capricorn are squaring your sun sign. So where there may be pressure in your life, and it could be related to money troubles, is in relationships. So you have to be really careful, and I think more patient than you have been. So even if people are pressing you to sort of get going, you better make sure that you really got the money in your own hand before you proceed. So I would advise you to wait a little bit, Libra. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when I think you need to be really, really quiet. And the reason why is the full moon on Monday in Taurus is opposing your sun sign where the sun is. And so there can be indecision or confusion, and it can be about financial disagreements right now. And then the real problem is that Mars, your own ruler, is in Aquarius, and it is squaring your sun. And since it's in harsh aspect to your own sun sign, and the exalted moon is stronger than the sun in Scorpio, and that's opposing your sun sign, I urge you, Scorpio, not to say one word about any matter that is financially related to anything. Because if you get in an argument about money for any reason, you're going to lose it. You'll lose the argument, and I think you'll lose some money as well. So this is a time when you really need to be quiet and very careful about any financial matters, because you are not aspected to succeed at them at the moment. And that's why I advise you not only to really be quiet, but don't take any financial risks right now. They would not pay off. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, Mercury, the planet of the mind and of communication, is in your sign now, along with Saturn, and they are trining Uranus in Aries, and Uranus is the planet of sudden change. So you may be instrumental or even have news about some sort of breakthrough or revelation or discovery of one sort or another, and it could speed up progress toward a new beginning that you can be anticipating, Sagittarius. So that is very good. It doesn't mean that you can trust everyone, though, because Neptune in Pisces is still squaring your sun sign. But still, so when Neptune goes direct, things will move forward, and I'm happy to say, Sagittarius, I think you're going to move with them, at least in the planning stage of something that's sort of new and exciting. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, lucky you, Mars has just left your sign, and Venus is now in your sign instead. And that is really good for you because the exalted moon in Taurus is trining Venus and Pluto in your sun sign, Capricorn. And that can be very good for mending fences, because while Mars was in your sun sign, you might have rubbed a few people the wrong way with your strident opinions. Or it could be just that you have been very, very energized to get a lot of work done, and you might be a little bit tired. Well, you owe yourself a reward. So I think there is good news coming your way, Capricorn, now that Venus is in your sign. And I also think that your long-term prospects, particularly regarding any kind of financial investments, are looking really good right now. And so I think that I think there could be some money coming your way, because the exalted moon is trining your sun and the sun in Scorpio is sextiling your sun. So look up, Capricorn, because I think your finances are about to get better. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, Mars is now in your sign. Oh boy, that can really energize you, Aquarius. But on Monday, in particular, under the full moon in Taurus, that Mars in your sign is going to be squaring that exalted moon, which is an indication that there can be money troubles involved with an investment of some sort, or simply with some amount of money that can be problematic for you. And also that Mars in Aquarius is squaring the sun in Scorpio. And remember that Scorpio rules credit and debt, inheritance, insurance, and it rules any kind of money coming in from anyone else. And so you could be facing a problem with debt. You could be facing indecision or confusion about some sort of financial disagreement that could be somewhat severe, Aquarius. And yet, with Jupiter in Libra trining your sun, you could bring in new partners that maybe could help you with some sort of money problem in one way or another. Or maybe they have a great idea for the future and they want to join up with you in order to achieve it. Well, that would be good, and that might get you out of some sort of financial hole that you could be looking at. So if you don't know about it, it could be coming right up, Aquarius. And that's why it would pay to take on friends that can really help you out, or new partners right now. Because otherwise you're going to be facing a real financial standoff somewhere in your life, and you would be very aggressive, but you may not win anything. And that's why I think you should get some help instead. Okay, and what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when I think that with Neptune about to go direct in your sign in just 10 days, that if you are willing to face the truth and bring out anything that is hidden or omitted, or any kind of little half-truths or deceptions that have been around, and really not kid yourself about them anymore, then you may be able to take advantage of some financial situation that can aid you or help you in the future. And that is because the sun in Scorpio is trining your sun, and that full moon in Taurus is sextiling your sun. So there can be some money around to help you out right now, Pisces, but only after you really face the truth about something and not kid yourself about something and really decide that you are going to be very, very productive or proactive about something. The reason why you have to put a real positive outlook on something right now is because that Mars in Aquarius is right behind your sun sign. And it spells trouble under this full moon in Taurus. And so you could be a little bit more worried than other people realize about a financial situation that you don't really have any control over, but you could even be the victim of it if something goes sour financially in somebody else's life or even in an employer's situation. So you do have some troubles or worries about your future right now, Pisces, and all I'm saying is, you know, look around. There may be ways that you can get some financial help right now, but you'd have to be real quiet about it, and you'd have to also be real honest about things at the moment. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.